play of the game from way down.
Two, silence, Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring! Bomb stats, Dingo gonna find Rainer!
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was gonna be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill. No. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. It's Heroic Night. It's a Saturday night, and we've got actually a double header for you here for the Probe 1 team. And we're going to be watching Probe 1 versus A-Mei-Zing first, and then we're going to follow up and we're going to see Probe 1 versus Nobo Esprouts. So let's take a quick look here at the standings. Currently, Probe 1 sitting at 10th place, but not a whole lot of points keeping them away from the playoffs there. So they've got 2 matches tonight to get points out of. Also, we've got A-Mei-Zing at number 8, so currently tied with, well, I guess there's a BBW in there who was withdrawn, so I guess all of that kind of bumps up a little bit because of that, but we'll see how this goes for them. Alrighty, so currently looks like we are missing 1 player from each team, so we'll get started here in the near future. Welcome, Ektar. Yes, that would be Alice. My little pain in the neck. Currently, she's sitting under my chair. Alright, so it looks like we do have subs on either team as well. Sounds like they're crossing, that they've got it all worked out amongst themselves. So we will have, looks like 1 person from each team that is, I guess, maybe even off roster. So we'll get into that in a moment here. So let's take a look at our maps. What do we got going on here today? Well, Probe 1 has map pick tonight, and so they banned out they banned out Sky Temple and Tomb of the Spider Queen. A-Mei-Zing choosing to ban out Battlefield of Eternity and Barax's Holdout. And our first map of the night is going to be Infernal Shrines. All right. Just making sure everybody's done their due diligence on things that they needed to here, so all good there. So, how's everybody in chat doing tonight? Because we have a few minutes, and there's not a whole lot to talk about setting up here. Let's see. Looks like one of them is coming in here. So Heroic, this is the last week for Heroic. So this is it. This is when they've got to get their games played. There, I think, are a whole bunch of flex matches that have to be completed here by the end of the week. So we may see, some more matches coming up. Actually, this is Friday. There's not a whole lot of time left. So as I say that, I wonder if there are more Heroic matches this weekend here. Let's see. Obviously, there's one coming up tonight. There's also one tomorrow, which coincidentally I'm casting that as well. Broken Alliance versus Celeb Gaming. I guess that's it. So they must have gotten their flex matches in. Well, not according to the calendar anyway. Holy cow, there are a lot of matches that have not been reported. Holy smokes. A-Mei-Zing has 4 matches. Obviously, one tonight. Probe 1 has 2, so they're getting those done tonight. Miss Most Skill Shots has 2, Celeb has 3, Nobo and Archon 2, and Broken Alliance 1, so obviously they'll get theirs done tomorrow. So that is a lot of games that have not been played, or at least have not been reported. That's kind of interesting. Oh, there you go, Ektar. What, are you playing 5th edition, or are you playing one of the earlier editions? Just out of curiosity. Oh, hey, look, we have people in here. Let's see. Just had to clarify about the rules regarding spectators. Oh my goodness. Okay. Arrow of the storm. Sorry for the pauses in communication here, just trying to communicate with the teams. So just as a reminder, you know, since we're on the subject, and by we I mean me, non-caster staff, so whether that's an observer or you know, a co-caster, caster, what have you, people who are not approved by NGS can't have them observing the game. So whether that's your friend, your coach, or somebody else on your team, just not okay. That is that's one of the rules. So 5th edition game, GM for Pathfinder game, which is very yeah no, actually I GM a Pathfinder game as well. I've played 5th edition, and then I actually play in a another Pathfinder game. So I get you. I'm with you there, Ektar. I understand. Looks like we now have 5 people for both teams, so hopefully we'll be all set and ready to go here shortly. Fingers crossed. Oh, now I'm the host. You know, and we'll set me as referee just to make sure, you know, if something comes up, so I can communicate with them. Looks like good point, Ektar. Yeah. Yes, they are. Okay, so we're getting, I think everything's set then. Both teams ready. Yeah, so it's got to be NGS approved. Also, you know, same thing with off-roster subs. Got to be approved by your division moderator. Make sure you've done that prior to the game, as well as the opponent, right? You got to let your opponent know. So sounds like one team just needs a moment. So while we're doing that, why don't I remind everybody out there about the wonderful Patreon that we have, where you can, you know, put a little bit of coin into the Patreon and get nifty rewards like player cards or lanyards or squeaky chickens. But where would you go for something like that? Well, you'd go right here. Guess that'll probably reset the music, but that's okay. Alrighty. Oh, we got a ready. And another ready. Ladies and gents, we're gonna get into a game. On Infernal Shrines between Probe 1 and A-Mei-Zing. Probably take some notes, huh? Pop this up. Infernal Shrines, I believe Ektar said that this is the most played map. Either this or Tomb of the Spouted Queen, one of them is, and it's not even really all that close. It's like 50% more than the next played, which I believe was Tomb. Got your skeletal defenders on the shrine points, providing you the ability to summon yourself a Punisher of the Frozen Mortar or Arcane type. And with the changes implemented, allowing for those to have such fine abilities as Structure Lockdown or big bursts of mortar damage or even the laser damage, of course. Yeah, I thought it was Shrines. Okay, yeah. It was like 60 or 70 games, if I remember correctly, what you said before. We're going to see a Zeratul ban first here. And you know what, because I have nothing better to do while I'm waiting on the next ban, which is going to be Alarak, I kind of want to see what Heroic looks like for statistics on some of these heroes. So, let's see, what does Zeratul look like here? Let's see. So Zeratul, 78% win rate. Holy cow. It's absolutely bonkers. Probius. Let's see, what does Alarak look like here? So, and these are both, you know, high impact heroes, so it doesn't surprise me to see them banned. Although 43% win rate for the Alarak, so interesting. But just because I gotta see what this looks like. What is the Probius pick like? Zeros across the board. All right, so we've got a target ban here for sure. Just because of the name, I think. But Maiev coming in here as the 4th ban, rounding out our early bans here. And what do we got? 44% even for Maiev. So overall, you know, these are heroes that can provide just a truckload of value in the right hands. So ultimately, those stats mean absolutely nothing because they're division-wide, and these are, of course, team-specific. Yeah, isn't it though, Ektar, right? Like banning out the Probius. That's like banning out Cho against Ban Cho. Like, come on. Or having Ban Cho ban Cho. Like Ban Choception. But after the Ana pickup, we're going to have a Leoric and Jaina. Now, I have not casted a lot of Heroic, but I do specifically remember Jati on Jaina. So I'm kind of excited to see this. I'm hoping that this is quite the display of prowess and fortitude. What are we going to have go with this Ana, though? Are we going to get something frontliney or are we going to get some DPS? We are going to get potentially both. We could see this being a main tank Uther. We could see a nano boost storm thing that he does. Holy cow. Souls? Tormented Souls. There we go. And of course, both of these teams have an off roster tonight, so a little bit of a difference there in their scouting and drafting. Bring a riot. Fair enough. Welcome, Ryokai. Glad you could join us this evening. Hope you enjoy the stream. So Jaina, so in pretty much all the other lower divisions, we would see a significant potential for a Raynor pickup here with the Jaina. I don't know if that carries through across, but we'll find out here. But the Leoric, an early pickup. So, you know, another kind of variation here is the solo laners picked up very early between Leoric and Malthael in the first half of the draft. Kind of unique because in the at least in most of the games that I've cast, the solo laners usually held until significantly later because it's a 1v1, so you want to get as much of an idea of what your team's going to look like. Rekhots, welcome to the stream. I'm glad you could join us tonight. But we're going to see the Anub'arak and Alex Straza coming out. So Alex, you know, this is probably her best map. And we're going to see overall a pretty squishy team here coming out from A-Mei-Zing, with the Phoenix and Hanzo being picked up there at the end of this. And there's not a whole lot of potential for peel, so they really have to you know, cover themselves. But we do have an Anub'arak dive. We also have a Leoric who can just Wraith Walk his way right in onto whomever he wants and pop off an Entomb. So going to be an interesting setup here for A-Mei-Zing. We're going to see that Sylvanas picked up. So overall, it feels very much like we've got a map-focused draft coming out from Probe 1. And, you know, a little bit of map focus with the Phoenix and the Hanzo, but it feels like they're looking a little bit more toward the team fighting and getting as many heroes killed as they possibly can and winning the map that way. But we shall see. Going into game number 1 is the draft now complete. Do you think Tempest will throw a grenade on every Alex heal? No. I think that they will probably try to negate as many Alex heals as possible. But I don't think that you pick Alexstrasza into Ana if you are not pretty good about your abundance placement. Right? I mean, they knew that going into it. Ana was their first pick. So going into it and then having the Alex after the second ban, I think that they have to be mindful of that. Well, fair enough. And Ryokai saying absolutely not. But we shall see. So, you know, maybe Ana plays far enough forward that she can drop those grenades wherever and whenever she wants. Your in-game commentary this evening brought to you by Aero. Because why the heck not make a funky voice when you're doing this? All right, let's get these teams introduced. On the left, we have Probe 1. Jati on Jaina. Christy going to be on the Anub'arak. Jira on Sylvanas Thunderblade. On the Leoric. And Really on Alexstrasza. Really. And then on the right for A-Mei-Zing, we have Gronman on Malthael, Unaverted on Hanzo, Tempest on Ana, Red Robot gonna be on the Uther, and Hunter CJR playing that Phoenix. So let's take a look at these talents. So Alexstrasza going into the Q talent, so getting the eventually she'll get those kind of free heals so she doesn't use her health. And they've got a lot of backline people, so that'll be helpful for that too. We've got the shield build coming out from Anub'arak as well, so with the team that they've got, that's not a surprise at all. I expect him to go, you know, fairly deep into that. But on the side of A-Mei-Zing, we've got the Holy Light here, which is called what? Silver Touch. I never remember that. And Scatter Arrow build coming out from Hanzo. On a Pale Horse, of course. Sorry, just reminded me of the Mr. Ed. But anyways, on a Pale Horse, allowing for that double soaking, which I expect we will see much of out of the Leoric eventually as well. And then is this, yeah, Arsenal Synergy for the Phoenix here. So, and in some ways, I'm kind of surprised in how they've got this set up currently with the 113. Just because of the fact that I feel like Phoenix really beats Leoric. But we'll see how that goes. No brainer Dragon Strike game, right? You know what? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised necessarily. You know what? They could use the Dragon Strike on the Entomb. Big brain plays right there. But we're gonna see Anub'arak diving in here. This is 4v4 in the bot lane. Jaina kind of by herself here with the Uther and Hanzo going in. She did dodge the Stormbow attack, but the auto attacks, they don't miss. And Alexstrasza in a bit of danger here now as well. That laser from Hunter CJR just barely finished before it was able to catch Alexstrasza on her run back there. Unaverted. Gonna head back for some mana. And we do see Jaina coming back onto the map here as the rotation's coming up. Leoric trying to slow down the Malthael to see if he can't prevent him from getting the soak out of some of those minions. Level 4's now available. As we get a little bit of damage in onto Hunter CJR, but since he's got that regenerating shield, not too urgent for him. Also, earlier, after that back by the Hanzo, we did see Sylvanas pick up this siege camp in the bot lane. I'm gonna see a bit of a rotation down here. Get a little damage on Uther, maybe force him to go back before this shrine is able to be done. And A-Mei-Zing picking up their shaman camp, making this rotation up a little bit ahead of the Probe 1 team as well. Possession was picked up by Sylvanas at 4, so no Merc Queen. This is a map with a lot of mercenaries, so I do not play Sylvanas well, so I can't speak to whether that's great or not. So feel free, somebody in chat, like, give me, extol the virtues of possession, because it's not something I've, like, it used to be just absolutely terrible, so why is it great now? But anyways, so Hunter CJR getting a lot of damage here, and Sylvanas getting a ton in return, having to use that, yeah, that wave out. Wow, I don't remember the name of that ability either. Haunting Wave, there we go. But so far, 7-24, very much in favor here of A-Mei-Zing, and Dragon Queen is going to come out. There's that negative healing grenade, but a little bit too soon. And that's going to allow the Anub'arak to get that healing. So this is going to give a few moments of breathing room. Not a whole lot, though, as now Dragon Queen is down. Level 7's picked up for both teams. We'll pop those up for you for a moment here. Zoom out so we have a better view. And we're pretty much even now on the points. Burrow Charge coming in onto Gronman and Red Robot, but no real follow-up to get any kills out of that. But again, this is a double support team, and Uther does provide that 25 armor to anybody he heals. 33-32, still a very close number here, but the health bars of Probe 1 getting so very low. And there's that healing grenade mentioned earlier. Jira and Thunderblade both gonna go down. And Christie, as well as Jati, really running away, trying to get away from this team. But that is gonna be a full team wipe. And now 6 kills to none in favor of A-Mei-Zing. But ultimately the Punisher was picked up by Probe 1. Had to double check the color there because it was so close I didn't know. But Twitch will give me for watching ads today. Tempest didn't stop at heal. Let's see. If by Dragon Strike you mean Dragon's Arrow, you have to sub to Aero. You know what? Fair enough, guys. Alright, so Probe 1 back on the map. A full level lead currently for A-Mei-Zing. So they'll be level 10s for sure before the next Punisher. Most likely both teams will be level 10 by that time. But this does give A-Mei-Zing a little bit of an advantage, and we'll see if they take some of that advantage here once they get to level 10. But right now, they've got well, right now it's 4v4, but they've got Phoenix coming in, so this is a bit of an advantage for them as Leoric on the other half of the map. And with level 10s coming up just around the corner here, I expect to see them be a little bit more, I guess not a lot more, but a little bit more aggressive in getting camp invades here. I don't say a little bit because, you know, they were already pretty aggressive in this bot lane. Probe 1, you know, just taking a breather. They got to get this level 10 taken care of. But what do we have out of level 10? Again, as I mentioned earlier, Tormented Souls out of that Malthael. Going to be with that Nano Boost most likely. It is Dragon's Arrow, along with Divine Shield and Purification Salvo here for the Phoenix. And there goes the Impale here onto the Uther and Phoenix. We've got a line of red heroes here from the mid to the bot lane, as not a whole lot going on. They're not really pressing that advantage very well. Not necessarily well, but at all. Like, they're not really looking for that fight. They're just accepting and allowing Probe 1 to get to level 10. So what do we have out of 10s for Probe 1? Well, we've got Entomb, the Wailing Arrow, not to be confused with the Dragon's Arrow. We got that Cocoon, Cleansing Flame, and it's going to be Water Elemental from the Jaina, so fair enough. This is a relatively, well, I mentioned it earlier, it's a pretty squishy team, so while Ring would get pretty significant benefit, really the only setup they've got, I guess, really is the Entomb. So this way they've got some greater sustained damage, and you know, Jaina's sitting at 4,400 on her baseline quest, so the Water Elemental should be able to help out with that a bit. We're going to see that Shaman Camp picked up by A-Mei-Zing a little bit after Probe 1 picked up their Shaman Camp, and Malthael is going to clear this out up top, so somebody will ultimately have to clear the top lane or they will lose structure damage. Rekhots, thanks for the sub. I appreciate you holding up to that bet with Ektar. And oh my goodness, the quick pull and stun onto a Nubarak as I was extolling the virtues of Rek in the chat, getting and securing the kill onto that bug, and that's going to give them a nice comfortable burn here onto these Shrine Defenders. Probably, I don't think that Probe 1 can really even defend this without the Anubarak, so this very likely is just going to be a Mortar Punisher going over to A-Mei-Zing. And 13 talents now available here. Pop those up for you as they're coming in here. Not a whole lot of fighting going on just at the moment, although Anubarak is coming in. 35 on the count. So we'll see this picked up here in a moment. And Leoric's still up there in the top lane, working on that soak. Let's take a look. How does the XP balance look right now? So Leoric and Malthael sitting pretty close. But of course, Malthael's been able to be with his team a lot more as they've been, as Probe 1 has been a little bit behind in XP for basically the whole game, not the whole game, since they had that full team wipe. But now that the wall is down, we're seeing Probe 1 pull back a bit, accepting that this fort is just gone, with Leoric trying to double soak that top and mid lane. And with that fort pickup, we're going to see Ameizing pull back and try to catch that soak in mid, try to catch this this camp here in the mid lane as well. And they're going to start working on mid structure damage here. And, you know, one thing that I try to remind my team about, or players when we're doing Storm League or whatever, is that, you know, structure damage is permanent. Once you take down a structure, it's gone and it provides no value. So, you know, chasing after a kill, that person comes back. It's kill the structures when you can. Obviously, the asterisk being Abathur, but even Abathur cannot regenerate a completely dead fort or structure. And core damage on Towers of Doom. That's the other version of that. So cannot regenerate the core on Towers of Doom. But Uther is pretty far forward here. We're gonna see the attempt for his life. Well, we do get the cocoon. Okay, so I think they're just accepting that Uther's dead here, right? Is that what's happening here? Well, D shield goes out. We do see the Dragon's Arrow, but Malthael getting the cleanse and popping the Tormented Souls. It's going to be a Nubarak that goes down in response, though. Well, Dragon Form and Cleansing Flame used there, but a little bit too late to provide any value there onto the team. We're going to see the knockback coming from Dragon, but Thunderblade might end up falling here. Does, with that holy shock coming out from Red Robot, and really as well going to go down. So another full team wipe here, favoring A-Mei-Zing, and they've got level 16s. And now with that, they're going to start working on the bottom keep. They've got a few moments here before Probe 1 can get here, so looks like they're just going to be able to get this wall and pull out. But with the mid siege camp going that whole time, they are actually able to pick up that mid fort as well. So interesting slight deviation here out of Uther. Instead of going with Benediction or the, I don't know the name of the Q talent at 16, he goes with Tears Deliverance. So getting that additional healing from all sources, say including the Ana heal or even the Malthael heal, providing probably just a massive amount of healing onto the Malthael when he's popping that Tormented Souls and using that Soul Rip to keep himself alive. Shaman camps being picked up by both teams here, and in the mid lane, Red Robot and Thunderblade picking up their soak. I was gonna say, I don't know if he knows that he's there, but it did look like maybe that minion caught his attention. And Liork's gonna head down because they already lost one fort to a siege camp. They can't lose a keep. And that is a long distance for him to travel. And with that, Jati getting a lot of damage here from the Phoenix. Looks like she's gonna go down, and Purification Salvo coming out, most likely to secure the kill onto the Jaina. But no other significant value out of it there, as it was pretty much just able to be healed up by the abundance. And with that, now kill onto Jaina and Leoric being far away in the bot lane. This is pretty much a free fort with the Shaman camp as well. For A-Mei-Zing. A-Mei-Zing looking really strong in this game. 13 kills to 0 right now. And this is a team comp that doesn't have a lot of health. But they do have an Uther and an Ana providing all of the healing and armor that they could possibly want. And here comes the Punisher. This is a frozen Punisher, so now that level 16s are available for Probe 1, we may see a little bit more of a little bit stronger defense on this to try to save their keep. But of course, with that frozen Punisher locking down the structure, that's going to be a very difficult task. And if you're a Nubarak, so he catches the jump, gets put to sleep, and now the burrow charge out. But all of these ultimates are available pretty much for both sides. Purification Salvo's coming back here in just a moment. Big root from the Punisher, by the way. 3 heroes in the bot there. And now's the leap. The Punisher sitting at half health. Dragon Queen is now over. And it looks like the keep is going to go down. And the Punisher as well. So now that the keep is down, they get the cocoon onto the Uther. He's got a dot there, but they do find their first kill onto Hunter CJR, but it's going to be 3 return kills onto the Nubarak, Alex Raza, and Jaina. And those are long death timers now with this full team sitting here at the core. This could very well be the end of the first game. Look at that damage, though. Again, Sylvanas able to just throw out half of Unaverted's health in one salvo of attacks. I'm gonna have to go back and look to see if anybody actually said anything about the possession. So Sylvanas diving in, trying to get as much as she could, but 4 heroes from A-Mei-Zing here with none available from Probe 1, although Leoric now coming back up, trying to slow things down, but it's just not enough. Even though that took 3 hours, it felt like, because there was absolutely no siege. A Hanzo who has slow auto attacks, an Uther, an Ana, and a Malthael who cannot dot the core. Took a long time for them to get that one down, but ultimately they were successful in bringing it down. So congratulations to A-Mei-Zing on ultimately what was kind of an amazing map. They played that well. 18 kills to 1. The first kill coming at the very end of the game onto the Phoenix, which ultimately allowed them to turn around and get 3 more kills at the end. Taking a look at these talents. Malthael didn't even get a chance to select his level 20. They didn't really get a chance to use any of them, as of course the team was pretty much fully dead there. So some interesting things, you know, the Sylvanas things, you know, I haven't really seen a whole lot or played a whole lot of Sylvanas, so I don't know about this stuff, so I'm just highlighting it to see, so that I can remember next time I go into a brawl and play against more Div B people, so that I can not say that we're automatically going to lose. But so Mithril Mace is another one that I've seen a couple times here lately, along with the Spectral Leech, as opposed to the damage reduction Wraithwalk, along with the Wraithwalk reduced cooldown on Q on Skeletal Swing. So I'm assuming that was. I don't know the reasoning for that. If that's like, you know, the reason that you take that is better for wave clear, or if there's a specific thing for that. So again, chat, feel free to pipe in, as these are two heroes that I basically never play. You know, what's the value of that possession? What's the value of that Mithril Mace? And I have to scroll back up to see if anybody did actually say anything about possession, because that was a little while ago. Let's see. No, nobody had anything to say about possession. Well, you know what? Maybe I just need to go back and check out Ziltoid's video about Sylvanas, and I bet that would probably give me some of that information, right? Tell me a little bit about how to play that hero. Not that I care. She can burn, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, she is on my opening scene, but whatever. All right, let's see. So. Ooh, actually, I don't remember who that was. Really, right? Yeah. There we go. All right, so looks like game number 2 is going to be on Volskaya Foundry, and that was picked by Probe 1. So let's take a look at those maps again, shall we? Again, we started off with the bans from Probe 1 on Sky Temple and Tomb of the Spider Queen. For A-Mei-Zing, the bans were Battlefield of Eternity and Brax's Holdout. Game number 1 was, map number 1 was selected by Probe 1. It was Infernal Shrines. It was won by A-Mei-Zing. Map number 2, Volskaya Foundry, also going to be selected by Probe 1. And they are now looking to get their first win of the match to tie up the game. And we'll see if they can do it. They're going to need a little bit more oomph to solidify against this team. I've once again been promoted to lobby host. So, and it looks like they're ready, so here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Volskaya Industries. All right, so we'll see if we get some adjustments in bans here. You know, if you are Probe 1, what adjustments do you need to make? Do you think that they're going to take a similar kind of comp on Volskaya? They could, certainly. And if so, what do you ban? Do you ban the Uther? Was the Uther the problem? Was it the Malthael? Was it the Ana? The Ana certainly contributed a lot in the penalty to the healing there, allowing them to secure several kills. We're going to start off with an Abathur ban coming out from A-Mei-Zing. And there goes... I thought it might be the Uther. They're at the very least, they're going to make them play something a little bit more traditional. We're going to see the continuation of the Probius ban. Now, what do you take for your second ban here? I'm going to just remind these teams. There we go. Remind them that of the bans. We're going to see Uther Alarak getting banned out, and you know what? That's totally fine, because the Alarak is pretty rough, and you know, just given overall how things went, I think that Alarak could enable a lot of things for these teams. Should have banned Ana. All right, so what are we getting out of the Probe 1 team here? We're going to start off with a Tyrael and a Thrall. So the Tyrael gives them the potential for Sanctification. It also gives them the potential for a Judgment. Depending on what they put together for their team here, a Judgment onto an Ana could be a pretty devastating thing to have to deal with. Could also use the Thrall to throw up a Sundering, isolating a hero. But right now we're going to see the response as an ETC and Falstad. So ETC has a lot of potential peel for his allies in the form of a Face Melt, knocking his heroes back. Not his heroes, but the enemies back. And the Power Slide, but also Falstad with the potential for a Gust. And even his Boomerang slowing provides some value too, depending on the circumstances. Band number 3 going to be the Malthael there. And in game 1 we saw those solo laners were picked up pretty early. In game number 2, at least maybe less so. We could see Falstad in the offlane. We probably will see Thrall in the offlane. Final ban coming out for A-Mei-Zing. Stukov. You know what? Stukov gets a lot of value on this map. He, with his zoned silences. Not only that, but he's a pretty solid counter to a mosh pit, having the pretty significant range on his silence. Also, his ultimates. Both ultimates can ultimately work to stop a mosh. But we are going to see a Sylvanas and a Nazeebo. A Nazeebo in Heroic. I love it. Now I kind of want to go call a whole bunch of friends and tell them that we have a Nazeebo in Heroic. Alright, I just told a couple of friends. I didn't tell a whole lot, just a couple. But we are going to see that Zeratul that was banned out earlier, along with a Greymane. So the Zeratul, you know, we could see a really interesting setup with the Void Prison, follow up with a Mosh Pit. Honestly, and also follow up with the Hinterland's Blast too. There's a lot of potential value there. For the last pick here, we're gonna see the Lucio coming out for a Reilly there. So very frontline. Well, no, even still, I mean, Greymane's really backline. So, and Zeratul, while he's melee, isn't really up in the front line a whole lot. So, kind of an interesting setup here between these two teams, with the Bruiser of a Thrall, the ranged attack of Greymane. I'm kind of expecting we're going to see Falstad in that offlane. I mean, in theory, I suppose we could also see the Greymane. What else do we have there? They don't really have the potential with the Tyrael to go Judgment, I think. I think they have to take the Sanctification. But we have some interrupts for Mosh. We've got either ult from Sylvanas, we've got the boop from Lucio, we've got the Sundering, and of course the Sanctification. Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 on Volskaya Foundry. On the left, looking to even up this match, we have Probe 1, Thunderblade on the Thrall, Djira on Sylvanas, really going to be playing Lucio. We've got Jati on Nazeebo and Christie on Tyrael. And for A-Mei-Zing, Red Robot's going to be on ETC, I believe. Unaverted on Falstad, Gronman on Zeratul, Hunter's CJR is on Zeratul? No, Greymane, there we go. And Tempest going to be playing that Ana. And of course, a couple of players just a little bit behind in the base there, but That's okay. Nothing important taking place here. But let's take a look at these level 1 talents here. So we've got the Accelerando for Lucio, as opposed to the party mix, allowing him to zip around this map a little bit faster. Echo of Elements out of Thrall. This is no Div D level game with the Crash Lightning. And Justice for All giving the extra shielding from Tyrael, allowing Tyrael to be a little bit more of a team player. We've got the Cleave build coming out from Zeratul, and this is the second time I've seen this in as many days here. But Hunter CJR taking a lot of damage, but so is Dejira. The Honor Grenade going out, and Red Robot getting caught in the Nazebo Zombie Wall is going to be the first blood of the game, just under 1 minute. And Zeratul is going to make it out with his Blink. So never mind, I wasn't going to say a thing. So what I was going to say, so we do have also a little bit of a deviation on this Falstad build going into the Seasoned Marksman as opposed to the, I don't even know what the Bribe talent is. Both teams make their way down to their siege or their fortification camps here. And we're going to see A-Mei-Zing just a little bit ahead here, while Probe 1 committing a little bit more in resources to pick up theirs. 3 players as opposed to 2. All the while, Falstad in the top lane, trying to catch up in the XP here a little bit. We'll have to keep an eye on those Nazebo stacks as well throughout this game. So a little bit of a skirmish up here in the top. Interestingly enough, also Guitar Hero for ETC. I'm going to be interested to see how that goes as well. Don't see it a ton, but Dejira there using that Haunting Wave to go about 3 centimeters. Not able to make it all the way out of danger and dies on the other side of the wall. But the fortification turret picked back up by Tyrael here, and with that kill, we do see A-Mei-Zing making their way onto this support camp, looking for this biotic emitter here. All right. And that's a nice, easy pickup for them, so that's going to give them an item advantage now for A-Mei-Zing on the control point. Control point A getting started here in the mid lane. And we see Thrall, by the way, Falstad kind of solo laning up here versus the Nazebo, but we saw Thrall and Zeratul there in the bot lane. So going a little bit more soak every lane level of setup. And neither team yet able to pick this up, although Falstad diving right into the middle of the team there, but there were only 3 of them. And that's going to be Tyrael going down and dropping the turret, so now very much of an item advantage here for A-Mei-Zing, having both turrets and the support camp. Nazebo is up here trying to get value out of the level 1 baseline quest. And this is a map, you know, I didn't really talk about it earlier, but this is a map that I found that Nazebo, you know, can get a lot of value on. Thunderblade here getting caught and is potentially going to get taken out, and does. But now Grodman in danger here, popping off that biotic emitter, so that's going to at least equalize a little bit of the pressure, but not when they lose the Sylvanas as well. So a 3 versus 2 still down in the bottom, and no real damage here as well, as Sylvanas and Thrall both sitting in the graveyard right now. But Nazebo able to clear lanes, you know, relatively efficiently, especially once getting that Toads of Hugeness at 7. But Toads onto these control points can do a lot of damage because there's a lot of chaos, and it's not always easy to see Nazebo throwing those Toads out. And if you can time it and place them correctly, once you get that quest completed at 1 and you get all 5 of those. But hold up, Christie, once again in a bit of danger here, uses that Eldruins to flip over the team, and that's going to be an easy pickup on this first protector of the game for A-Mei-Zing. Ana and ETC sitting in the protector here, working on getting a little bit of value in the mid lane, getting the XP out of the towers at the very least here. And we do have a 4-man commitment here from Probe 1. Also, keep in mind that this does count as a hero, so things like the Toad stacks that Nazebo's working on do stack, but holy cow, the big dive in onto the Lucio and the Thrall securing now a double kill. Christie going after the fall stab, but not quite able to get there. And now with that value and 2 kills, I think we're going to see... Oh, we definitely see the fort going down as also level 10's picked up. Jati in a bit of danger here as Red Robot and Hunter CJR chasing that Nazebo back to the graveyard. Falstad heading up. So what do we have? We got the Eye of Horus this time, so no nano boost. Go for the throat out of the Greymane Mosh Pit as expected. Void Prison and also the Mighty Gust. So big plays here coming out from A-Mei-Zing. 7 kills to 2 currently. As the support camp once again picked up by A-Mei-Zing. Let's check in. Nazebo stack sitting at 83. So roughly on pace for having the 175 required at level 20, assuming that they get to that point, of course. Got to get to level 20 for Nazebo to really pick up that big damage boost. But we do have level 10s coming available now for Probe 1. And we're going to see that Gargantuan for Nazebo. Thrall going to throw that root out here, but he's getting gusted back, and that is a big problem with the ETC power sliding down from above. And Thrall not able to complete that level 4 Feral Spirit quest. Frostwolf pack. Also going into Maelstrom Weapon at level 7, so we'll see how that plays out. And with Thrall down, this is going to be some damage onto this fort. Red Robot having to power slide out as he was starting to take some damage there from the fort, but Ana able to keep him relatively healthy there. Level 13's now available. So A-Mei-Zing is really putting the pressure on here. They're able to get value out of structures every time they get a kill. Whether it's getting that fort in the mid lane, getting some fort damage in the bot lane, the well. Now they're working on these towers, and of course the towers provide XP. The forts and keeps don't necessarily provide direct XP. They provide a bonus to the passive XP. But those towers do provide an immediate bonus. So we're going to see the power slide in. Using Eldruins to get away, though. Isn't it, though, Rek? I gotta tell you, Rek, I love the wind tunnel moments at level 20 where you just find the right moment, the right place, and you push an entire team into a place where they just have to sit there and wait for 3 or 4 seconds for destruction to come upon them. Those are the best. So Thrall and Falstad here in the bot lane. Falstad being pretty safe about his positioning, and for good reason. We're going to see a rotation here from everybody but Tyrael, trying to get whatever they can out of this bot lane, setting up for the next round, and equalize at least some of the damage that was done here. And with the black arrows coming from Sylvanas, now they've got minions. They're going to be able to get a lot of damage here. The gust onto the minions is going to slow that down just a little bit there. But this should be a nice, easy, comfortable fort for Probe 1, but we're going to see A-Mei-Zing doing much the same in the top lane. So that's going to give them a path for their protector to go right into a keep. So I don't know how I feel about the play. It's probably the best they could hope for with being down the talent tier and having Tyrael up here to, you know, slow things down. But the way that the games have been going, A-Mei-Zing has been very aggressive, and if they can get a pick or two out of this, like this leads to a keep, and then if it continues, then it's game. So they're all already at half health there from the damage coming out from the protector, and we'll see how much value they can get out of this. While already down, Falstad coming in yep, he does have Gust, so all ultimates are on the table here for both teams. And now they're going to get started on the keep. Still about half of the health on the protector. And the turret going down, it is empowered by the Merc Queen. So ultimately, about half of that keep down. Now, we'll see if there's any value here. Big power slide in. Honestly, I'm surprised that wasn't just a mosh there, because there was no way for them to stop it. But we do have it now. Here comes the Void Prison coming down. Sylvanas is getting the sound barrier, but goes down. Eye of Horus is being used, and Thrall also going down. Turret able to, in conjunction with this fort, and rather keep, at least put a little bit of a pause on that as the minions coming in here. Nazeebo trying to clear those out quickly, but that's going to be a keep going down now. A-Mei-Zing providing themselves a big push and a big, just an absolute solid amount of pressure, because all of the value that Probe 1 got in the bot lane now is ultimately going to be negated because the next control point is bot lane. And that means that A-Mei-Zing can be fairly patient as the pressure mounts in the top lane. All right, then. I'm not sure if I showed 16s. Let's show those up again here, just in case. So, Tyrael trying to kind of hold the line here against the A-Mei-Zing team here in the bot lane. We see the rotations down now from the team. Falstad is going to dive in, looking for a potential gust into the team, but not able to find one that really felt comfortable. So instead, they're just going to get this minion wave, take out the fort, and now the bot lane has been fully equalized for both teams. And still no 16 yet for Pro 1. Checking in on those stacks, 191. So Nazeebo all done with the minion stacks. 78 stacks for that Shadow Dagger quest. 15 sitting on Greymane for the Wezen Duelist. And 47 for Falstad on the Seasoned Marksman. But 31 on the Toad quest. Really, like, Jati's got to finish that quest. Ideally, you know, on this next control point to provide those extra toads and get the additional damage bonus out of that. But maybe seeing a little bit of a problem here is Zeratul chasing down the Nazeebo up in the top lane, but is able to make it out. Let's take a look at what we're looking at here. Do we have an ice block for Nazeebo? We do not. We actually have the toads granting armor. So 25 armor when using the toads, so no ice block, no spell shield, which the spell shield is not a big surprise there with the team that they've got. Control point C up in the bot lane here. 16 to 19. This is the time that Probe 1 needs to make something happen. They've got to get a kill before A-Mei-Zing gets to level 20 so that they can relieve some of this pressure. A kill onto ETC would be great. It doesn't look like they're going to get it. Zoom out a little bit so we can catch up. The Biotic Emitter was dropped there by the ETC. The Sundering goes out. The Silence on to Falstad. Not quite enough. Maybe it is. Power Slide coming from ETC. Just a little bit too late to save the Falstad. But Greymane is coming in now from above. Has about half health. ETC gets booped back by the Lucio. And a second kill secured for Probe 1. Jati gonna head back and deal with the pressure mounting in the top lane, as I mentioned earlier. And we're gonna see them get onto the control point now as Zeratul keeping that pressure going in the mid lane, that occasional catapult pressure. And Greymane watching the line there. And we do have level 20s here as well, so we'll see what takes place here. Once ETC and Falstad are back on the map, I don't think that as long as they keep this channeling, I don't think that they can have a full 5-man on the map for the control point. So, and that seems to be the case. So Greymane's gonna come up here, pick up the Biotic Emitter again, which, if I remember correctly, has been in the hands of A-Mei-Zing the entire game. This is gonna give the Protector over to now Probe 1. Are we gonna see a backdoor? Is that what's Is that what's going on here? Is that what they're trying to do? Can't really see it with everybody this far away. So just Greymane and Zeratul up in the mid lane now. But not having level 20s is a big threat, and also not having Nazeebo. And that threat is so high that they're not even willing to go onto their half of the map. And that would be why. Because the quick kill onto the Sylvanas is kind of the nightmare scenario here. And look at this Protector. It's already under half health, and there's no fort here to protect Lucio and Thrall when they come out. Also no Void Prison, so they're not going to get stopped by that, but they may very well get gusted. And there it is, as the Mosh Pit being used as a zone, essentially. Thrall going to go down. Lucio very close as well. But now it's up to Nazeebo, Tyrael, and Lucio to defend this push coming in through the top lane. And they don't have level 20s yet. It's not looking good if you're Probe 1 right now. Well, Tyrael slowing down a little bit of the team. So that's going to give at least some time for Sylvanas to make it back. And almost level 20s. So they will get level 20s in this fight. We'll see if they can pick them up quickly and maybe defend their core. A lot of damage going out onto Hunter CJR, and we do have the level 20s getting picked up. And that is going to force back A-Mei-Zing. Wow. Holy cow. In theory, maybe they could have, you know, made their way through the bottom fort there and gotten to the core a little bit faster. I don't know, because of course they don't have any rack beetles or anything like that. You know, so that they would have to take some damage there. But I think Ana could have healed that up. I think taking that 20 seconds, 30 seconds to rotate all the way around the top probably cost them at least core damage, if not the actual win of the game there. But let's, you know what, let's post those up again. So level 20. So of course we have Vile Infection from the Nazeebo. We also have two different Bolt of the Storm talents there for Thrall and Sylvanas. But Falstad here by himself is going to be able to make it out. And we've got the full team of Probe 1 here kind of halfway surrounded by A-Mei-Zing. Oh my goodness, this is not good. They're super split. ETC in the back here. But ultimately able to make it out. That could have been a potential problem for either team, being as split as they were there. Did Thrall finish that level 4 quest? No, he has not. So Frostwolf pack has not been, or Frostwolf Resilience? Frostwolf pack has not been completed just yet. And there's the gust. It is going to get onto Tyrael. Tyrael gets the biotic grenade and goes down. That is the kill that A-Mei-Zing needed here. And now with the tour bus getting the mosh pit onto the team. But they were able to interrupt it there. So just the one kill so far, although Thrall having to use Sundering to stay alive. Greymane maybe using, yeah, did use Go for the Throat there. And so a little bit of core damage from these catapults coming in the top lane. And again, with the Tyrael down another 30 seconds, so I think he can be back by the time this goes into the potential for overtime. So one last stand here for Probe 1. And I think either team, if they can take a decisive team fight here. You know what? I'm not entirely certain. I think it was maybe the Wailing Arrow, but I don't know. It could have been the Lucio Boop, actually, now that I think about it. Because they were all very close. So, yeah, and looks like you guys are agreeing that that's probably the Lucio Boop. So, in a moment, you guys are going to hear me say Lucio Boop, and you're going to think that you said it before I did. But technically speaking, I said it before you did. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. Lucio, speaking of Lucio, rolling through, checking that bush. Here's the Tyrael here. So it is full team, and the wind tunnel going out, isolating most of Probe 1, and that's going to give the first kill of this encounter over to A-Mei-Zing. But they do have some pretty low health bars there. But so is Christie. Christie's very low here as well. So it's a 5 versus 4. also with a camp in the top lane. They can't very well give this up, though. Sylvanas going down. Christie as well. And now with the Void Prison, just a little bit of cleanup here as they are chasing down that Nazebo. And Lucio, the only member of Pro 1 left alive to watch firsthand as A-Mei-Zing is coming in. Oh, Lucio throwing out the taunt. So I guess not firsthand. Now he's just going to have to watch from above. As A-Mei-Zing making their way to the core, and this time they will finish it with a full siege camp and a nice line of alternating siege camp and catapults there. We're all sure you said it first, indeed. All right, so a relatively average game time 2-0 victory by A-Mei-Zing over Probe 1. 18 kills to 4 on that one. Certainly, you know, the game was always just slightly ahead in favor of A-Mei-Zing there. But you know, Probe 1 put up a good fight. It didn't feel like it was ever... This game didn't ever feel like it was ever out of control. It was just always just a little bit ahead. First game certainly felt like it was very much in A-Mei-Zing's favor there throughout the game, but game number 2 certainly a little bit more even. So we are going to get an interview, I assume, with Hunter CJR, because he is the one who approached me, which usually it's me first. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up, Aero?
Guys, congratulations on your victory. How does it feel to win 2-0 over the Probe 1 team? Can you hear me? Yeah,
good.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you, sorry.
Yeah.
It feels good. We've been having an upswing lately. Trim the fat, you know? Kidding.
Oh,
Good
my.
friends with BN. We went through a few roster changes. BN and Camille are on other teams, and the other 2 players were friends of BN's, so we had to change the roster around, of course, stuff like that. And I think we're clicking well as a team, and it shows in our play. Like yesterday, we beat CTV, and today we beat Probe 1, and then tomorrow, hopefully, we'll beat, I forgot who we're facing.
I don't know who you're facing because it's not on the calendar. That, by the way, that's a subtle reminder to put your games on the calendar.
Oh, it was Sunday. Sorry, it was Sunday. Is our next
Sunday? You have
Not
one
on
on
this
Sunday?
calendar Sunday either.
Actually, I was gonna say I don't think it was, because I pulled up the calendar earlier trying to see what heroic games, because there are a lot of heroic games that haven't been put on the schedule. Yeah, there's nothing on the calendar for heroic. So,
Okay.
and you guys, by the way, you have 3 other matches that are not reported, if not yet played. So make sure you get that updated.
The other games
so.
left for us are Mismo, Skill Shot, and Insomnia, by the way.
Gotcha. There you go.
I think we Oh, yeah, those are the 2 I think we're already gonna play. I don't remember which ones. Sorry about that.
Hunter.
No worries. You know what? You guys have a little bit of time, and right now, you know, you can kind of relax about that for a few minutes because you just got this victory. That's going to put you at 18 points now, which, at least according to the standings, which may not be up to date, would tie you with Celeb Gaming and Missmost Skill Shot, or Missmost Skill Shots. At the number 5, obviously tiebreakers and all that stuff. So certainly climbing your way up.
I'm not sure. Was that 15 before we played Celeb yesterday? Because
we didn't report the celeb
we didn't
games
report
yet.
that yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then yeah, so you'd be 18 plus whatever you got from that as well. So 21 or 20.
Yeah.
Which that would actually bump you all the way up to number 3.
Yeah.
Hey.
So looking really strong. I know we've talked before, if I remember correctly. I don't remember which game, but I certainly did cast one of your games. So you know, it's exciting to cast you guys in heroic, of course, because there are things that are different. So speaking of which, tell me about your guys' first draft. So like is that an Infernal Shrine specific setup? Because I looked at your guys' comp and I'm like, how do these guys survive literally anything, and then you just didn't die? So how does that work out? Like, how did that come to be for you guys?
So with Uther Ana, you get a lot of sustain healing from the Ana and burst protection with Uther, both through armor and D-shield. So we have burst prevention and sustain through long fights. And then once we nano Malthael with Tormented Souls, we're kind of just betting that we can kill them faster than they can kill us, as long as we execute, and then we were able to do so.
Sure. Makes sense.
Also, being able to grenade Alex Straza W's hurts their sustain immensely, which means that we can further win the sustained fight and survive any burst.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Thing too, we had to get a sub for today, and so we found Red Robot, and he is a tank main. So since we're both tank mains, we had to work around both of our hero, like what we can play and what we can't play as well in competitive play.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe we would have picked something else other than Phoenix. I thought the Phoenix worked well there. But I do know Red Robot is a huge fan of Uther, and I think Uther Ana is one of the best combinations, because the only thing that really shuts down Ana is burst, and
Right.
Uther has such good burst prevention that you'd need like a Nubarak or something to stop Uther, so then you could kill Ana, and it's hard to deal with.
Which of course they had, right? They had the Anubarak, but the dot damage that you guys had allowed the cocoon to be eliminated pretty quickly, and even the time that they caught out Uther, and I say caught out with air quotes because of course
we can't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
After like even.
Hello, guys, are you there?
Oh,
Yeah.
good
There we
now.
go.
Yeah, you cut out.
I don't know. Discord's been doing that lately for some reason. So even like the time when you guys when Uther got caught out in the kind of the bot mid area around the bottom shrine,
Yep.
and cocooned, like there was nobody around for a mile. And then they all kind of converged, and then Uther pops D shield, and then I think if I remember correctly, you guys wiped them there.
Yeah, we won the fight.
Since they couldn't kill Uther with the D shield, we just were able to.
Yeah, the thing is, it's hard to burst Uther with D shield, especially. They would have had to like CC him immediately out of it and kill him in that time frame. And the other thing, we have a ton of AoE damage with Phoenix, Mathael, and Hanzo.
Right.
With Hanzo has his ult, but the rest of them, and then Ana stops the AoE healing, which is why I don't like Alex Straza into Ana, because it's delayed AoE healing, which is really easy for Ana to W.
Right.
So yeah, we were able to turn the fight because Red Robot survived. I think their only chance there was to burst him before he had the opportunity to de-shield himself, which they probably could have done with
really
Silver on his ulti. Yeah,
you'd have to a noob stun right into a noob stun into Sylph silence and blow him up during that span.
Yeah. Which, I mean, maybe with Sylvan Jaina, I mean, that in theory that could work, right?
Yeah.
And even then, they have to worry about with Uther Ghost, can they 4v5 if you committed that much resources to kill Uther?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uther Ghost is a lot of healing.
So Drek Hots had made a comment, actually made a bet with Ektar about the Dragon Arrow versus Dragon Strike. So I ended up getting a sub out of it, so I'm certainly not complaining about the bet. But so
we did
like
get subs.
yeah, right. So what like where does that come from? Is Dragon Strike a thing that you guys play occasionally? That it could have potentially worked in this, or was that an adjustment that just Drek was thinking was cool?
I believe
Unaverted plays
Aero. Yeah, and I mean with Uther, you don't really have a great engage other than him walking up to you and stunning you.
Right.
So with Dragon's Arrow, you get that engage for long.
Right.
They buffed Dragon Strike a lot, though. It's not a bad talent anymore. Like, it used to be pretty memey. Like, it was very specific uses, and most of the time, those uses were... It was still better to take Dragon's Arrow, because burst and CC, But since the buffs to it, teams have been experimenting with it. Unaverted, who plays also for Inting for Globes, which is not an NGS team, Heroes type team and stuff.
Right.
He's been playing it in that and in Storm League and in in-houses. He likes Dragon Strike in certain situations now since they buffed it so much. But we needed to engage that game.
Right.
Even though we were good anti-engage with their comp, if they found the right engage by cocooning Uther and then going on Ana, it was really bad for us. But if we found the right engage with Aero, we could usually just blow them up because Uther has a lot of CC and we had a lot of AoE damage, and they didn't have anything to stop us from blowing them up.
Right. So. That makes sense. Well, and then you get into game number 2, and you've got the Void Prison Mosh. You know, the gusts from Unaverted were, you know, really solid. And not only the gusts that he did, but also the gusts that he didn't do. Right? Like like there was one moment there in the bot lane where, you know, he flew in as you guys were taking that bottom fort and was quite clearly looking for a gust, but by the time he landed, the only person available was maybe a Lucio, and wasn't quite, you know, and those are kind of the you know, 200 IQ plays that where you're like, okay, this was the plan, but I don't have to do it, right? The difference between, you know, seeing a heroic game and a, you know, pretty much, I was going to say a lower level division, but even in Div A, sometimes you see some of those plays where, you know, they pull the trigger hoping that they can make it work. And it just doesn't. And then, of course, you guys end up getting more kills out of it later. So, you know, really fantastic play. It was absolutely just a pleasure to watch. You know, I like to ask at the end of the interview what your favorite moment was from the match. So we'll start with you, Hunter.
Oh, my favorite moment was getting to play DPS, man, because I don't get to ever DPS, and it was really nice to get in there. My Phoenix game was okay. My Greymane game, I had high damage, and they kind of went for me in fights, but it was really nice. I think the best moment then, because it's stemming from that I'm happy I got to play DPS, was the one fight where it was 20-20 on the point on Volskaya. And they used all their blow up. I barely got out because Tempest saved me and Gronman VP'd one. And I got out and then tapped, ran back into the fight. Tempest threw another 2 heals on me on my way in. And I went in and got like 3 more kills for the team, or helped the team get 3 more. And plays like that, I really think Greymane's good. And his ability to like just jump on somebody and burst them is really fun to play. And I'm glad I got to play it.
As a tank main, let me just say, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Feel right here.
I mean, tank's fun. You know, you get some really good moments. Tanks have like some of the best game-changing ultis, but sometimes you just want to hit people. And with tanks, you're hitting them with the wet noodle, and then you switch over to like Greymane, and you're doing 25% of their health in auto attack because you got 30 stacks on your quest. And you're just like, wow, I can see why people just play DPS. I don't like them for it, but I can see why they do it.
Yep. So, Tempest, what do you think?
I can tell you my favorite and least favorite moments. My favorite moment was probably getting to pick Ana in 2 games. I get a banned against me sometimes, and just getting able to play her is a bit fun because I do practice her a lot. And my least favorite moment was through the first 2 objectives of Volskaya, I'd taken 0 damage as Ana.
Okay, yep.
And with Red Robot piloting the Protector, great, in front of Thrall, so he sunders me, and I take my first bit of damage. And I'm not very happy with Red Robot at all for that.
Yeah, he almost died there.
You know what? I mean, that sounds like Red Robot should be off the team, right?
He was subbing anyways.
That was the point, guys.
Wait,
Jeez.
I told him already. He's not subbing for us anymore with plays like that.
Well, good deal, guys. At the end of the stream, you know, any shout outs you'd like to make out there to Twitch land or whomever?
Let's see. Tempest, you can go first with shout outs.
Check out Hunter's stream on twitch.tv/HunterCJR. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it.
Okay.
Just check out the stream.
Check out Hunter's stream, yeah.
Big shout out to Unaverted and Fun Buns for coming in when we needed members and helping fill up our roster. because they've been clicking. We've been winning games now. Feels good. Thanks to Red Robot for also filling in just as a sub. I love all the Close to Death guys. I got to play with them, and we got second in Hero type, so that was fun. They're really cool people. And then shout out for iProView. I knew most of the members from the LAN ETS games that we got to play versus them, and Montreal Style Bagels, because their team's kind of like a conglomerate of those two. So it's really cool to see people stick around in the HOTS community and still have a lot of fun with the game, and there still be some pretty good competition in the scene. I mean, I don't get to play as much as I used to, but it's still really fun to see the names that you used to recognize, you know, and have some good games with them. And also, thanks for casting us, and thanks for all of NGS for hosting this tournament. It's been really fun so far, really good, and I can't wait for playoffs.
Great. Well, thanks guys for joining me tonight. I appreciate being able to take the time and cast this for you here. Congratulations again on your 2-0 victory. And yeah, so if you have more matches that you need to get played, because Sunday's it, right? Playoffs start next week, so you've got until Sunday. Get with a div mod. I happen to know one.
I've been talking with Wedge, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously Wedge, I'm a div mod as well, just not in yours.
I know.
But, to make sure that those get on the schedule, because if they're not on the schedule, nobody can cast them for you. And obviously we want to try to cast as many games as we can. So get those on the schedule, and also make sure you report the game from yesterday and today so that gets posted, okay?
Gotcha. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be back in about half an hour for the next game coming up. It's going to be Probe 1 versus Nobo Esprouts. Probe 1 probably looking to come in with some vengeance here, as, falling to Amazing 2-0. Let's take a look here. Where's Nobo Esprouts? Go to those standings here. So Nobo Esprouts at 19 points, currently on this standings, of course, number 3, but as we heard there, Amazing sitting with, at least 5 more points. So they're at least at 20, possibly at 21. So Nobu Sprouts tied for 4th with Archon. So, one of the, at least by the points currently, one of the top teams in the division. Also was a great team in Div A last season. So I expect to see a pretty entertaining game. And you know what? Hopefully Probe 1 picks it up. Nobo is roughly last. Okay, fair enough. Hopefully Probe 1 is, picks it up. They put it all together and bring it back in this next game against Nobo Sprouts. Again, that's going to be at 11 o'clock. There's not really a whole lot of casting stuff going on, so let's just see if there's anybody doing... you know what? Hotski's doing HOTS. Is she actually online? Nope. So let's see, who else can we find here? Gonna see if I can find somebody doing hot stuff. With WoW Classic, it's been a little bit hard to find anybody, so there we go. Kai Berries is doing hot stuff. So I'm gonna send you guys over to Kai Berries. Thanks very much for joining me tonight, and come back in half an hour for Probe 1 versus Nobo Esprouts. We'll see you then.